Cosplay is costume play.
Cosplay is when you dress up as a character who you love from anything really, and you make the costume yourself and you go to a convention and have fun with your friends.
For me, the main thing about cosplaying is the creative aspect of taking something from media and making it into real life.
Maybe you love the design of it or you love the character, and trying to be as accurate as possible when recreating it, so it's more than just a fancy dress. It's more trying to replicate it as best you possibly can.
It's a chance to dress up and be someone else for a day. You get to wear outrageous outfits and it's just a lot of fun.
I like the idea of keeping play in cosplay. It's about having fun, it's about expressing yourself.
I cosplay to mostly inhabit a character and to have fun with it.
I cosplay mostly for social reasons because a lot of my friends do it. I enjoy the craft side of things.
I like making the costumes, I enjoy the challenge of learning something new.
The first few times I did it, I just did it for the fun of recreating the characters that I love, but then you meet so many new people through doing it, and then someone might be putting together a group for the next convention and you think, oh, I want to be part of that, and you join that and then you meet more new people and you end up just keep coming to conventions and meeting more people.
I also feel more like myself when I'm dressed as somebody else. I do think it's a confidence thing.
It's a chance to wear something absolutely outrageous that you wouldn't dream of wearing.
You get to be all those people that you wish you were in films and in books. It's a really good way of expressing yourself.
I really enjoy becoming my favourite characters, even if just for a short period of time. It's a nice escape.
Making a cosplay depends on the costume itself. Some are fairly simple and only involve sewing and don't take all that long, whereas others can involve huge props and armour pieces and take a bit longer and involve power tools.
I've made costumes in a day and I've made costumes in 3 months, depending on how complicated it is. If I'm making just something that's plain clothes, so clothes that you can buy from shops and put together to make costumes like Amy Pond, it won't take me very long, just a bit of searching and buying online, whereas if it's something that I'm completely making myself from scratch, whether it's armour or whether it's a princess dress, then it takes a very long time to go from the very beginning stages of taking the design apart and working out how you're going to do it through all the processes, through sewing, through crafting, to get to the finished article. It can take months.
I try to be a bit of a cosplay ninja. I mean, I can make a costume that's solely fabric in about a day. But when you're doing something like a big armour build, you need a lot of time and a lot of money.
There's some costumes which take 6 hours plus, 20 hours plus. There's a costume I made which was over 100 hours worth of work.
This one required a lot of prop work rather than sewing because I took a lot of pieces and added bits on. And then it required more work on things like the wings.
This black cat costume took me 2 days because it's just sort of cutting and gluing latex. Once you've got the basic pattern, it's not that long to do. But there are things that, I've got in the works already that I'm not doing until the end of the year because I know that little bits are going to take me forever.
Accuracy in cosplay is very important to me. I try my very best to get as accurate as I possibly can, to the point where I'm crying over my sewing machine because it's not going right. With things like cosplays from games and anime, it's difficult to get accurate because they don't obey the laws of physics, but I still try the best that I can to do so.
Accuracy is one of the most important parts of cosplaying. I reproduced a costume which required me to look at 100 different pieces to put together for it. And I had to draw out each one, and I remade it a few times just to make sure I got the right shape.
Looking at the little details really helps to boost the cosplay, and everyone always notices the little details. You wouldn't think they do, but you can really tell when people have put effort into their costume.
I am my worst enemy when it comes to accuracy because I will notice all the tiny things that other people probably won't notice are not accurate in my costume. Again, I think it's entirely up to you whether you want to be accurate or not. You can enjoy cosplaying in a costume that isn't entirely accurate and you can look amazing and you can carry it off.
It's not important at all. This isn't accurate. Black Cat does not wear latex. It would not be practical in a superhero situation to be wearing latex. For starters, I can't go to the loo. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to go for super accuracy, then that's brilliant. I see some costumes that are so accurate that they could be in the film, and that's wonderful to see. And yet, you can get people that have put something together in, a day from stuff they've bought in Poundland, and that's just as good because it's still their love of the character.
Cosplaying is a really great way to meet new people, because if you're in like a similar costume to someone, you obviously share their interest, because you wouldn't make the costume unless you're really interested in the character. It's also really nice to talk to people online, get to know people before you go to the conventions.
The cosplay community on the whole is really vast. You get sort of groups specialising for different fandoms. So like today we had a Marvel meet where we had a group photo shoot called Marvel Cosplayers, and everyone there is really supportive and you can talk about your characters.
Everyone's very helpful to new cosplayers, and even people who've been doing it for a while and need a bit of help with a costume that has something they haven't encountered before. Everyone knows where to point people in the right direction.
There are some people who probably make it elitist, who feel like it's their special little place and don't like everybody invading it. But I think everyone needs to remember that cosplay is everybody's, but the community is lovely. Once you're in it, it's just this big, warm, welcoming sort of group of nerds.
I think it's really friendly. Like, there is every now and again things that come up and arguments that people have, but most of the time people are really supportive of each other, and new people come into the community and people will help them out, and you end up meeting more and more talented people and end up learning more from your friends.
Cosplay communities does sometimes get a bit up its own backside. There are some people who will get incredibly competitive and will snipe at each other. It can get too personal for my liking, but for the most part, in my experience, the people I've met, they're all friendly, they're all very complimentary about each other's costumes.
It can be really helpful, supportive and lovely, or it can be really bitchy and hostile. It really depends, and it's the same with any community, whether you do LARP or whether you do Warhammer or whether you are in football, whatever it is, there's always really nice people and there's also really horrible people as well.
The cosplay community is something I equally love and hate. It's very friendly at the most part, and it's a very inclusive place, but also because it's an online community, you do get trolls and you do get people that are not nice. But there's a lot of drama in the cosplay community, I think mainly because there is a limited amount of characters and a lot of people cosplay the same characters, and if you cosplay the same character as someone, it can create jealousy and a rift, which is awful when you think about the fact that you're only nerds putting on costumes. But most of the time it's brilliant because you can support each other and help each other in creating your costumes, and you can say, oh, I know how to do this but I don't know how to do that, and you can give each other hints and tips, but it can be equally very dramatic.
Some cosplayers get internet famous because they are genuinely talented cosplayers, but it's also a lot about exposure and knowing who to get to photograph you, where to post those photographs, and just generally getting your face out there and getting well known in the cosplay community.
I think for the most part it comes down to their force of personality. If they've got a costume that attracts people's attention and they're social enough and they are engaging with people, then yeah, they're going to become more popular.
I would say that these cosplayers tend to be very stereotypical. It tends to be females, it tends to be the ones that their photos are out there, so if a photo becomes viral online, it can spread quickly and the cosplayer behind that picture can become very well known. I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's great for the cosplayers because they can get recognition, they can get free things, they can get invited to conventions, but it can also be really bad because the internet can be a horrible place. I think you have to have a thick skin if you're going to be a cosplayer putting your pictures online, because not everybody's going to understand what you're doing. You can get called some quite horrible names, but you just have to take it on the chin and realise that this is your hobby, you enjoy it, and just don't listen to what anybody's got to say.
I think some cosplayers get more popular for whether they can do big scale armour that nobody else can do, or if they've got a special craft for themselves. But then there is a sort of category where if you happen to look in a particular way and you pass off as characters better, then you tend to get more popular from that.
I know there's a lot of people who do it for likes and internet fame and stuff, but I know that can really drain a person. I've had friends who've done it and they've realised that they're too interested in getting more and more likes and they're just not enjoying cosplay anymore.
It's kind of like about being nice to people. You know, if someone likes you and they love you and they want to share your pictures on their page, then they will do.
It does come down to some of it is quality. Some people who are really well-known cosplayers, the fabrication work and the costuming is just exceptional. And they're also really good at expressing that character as well. And I just think it comes down to, you know, how much hard work you're prepared to put in. If you're just doing it for fun, then that's all you're going to get out of it. But if you want to do it professionally, then you've got to be prepared to market yourself and put yourself out there.
I was a cosplay guest at LSCC. I took part in panels where I did question and answer sessions about how I make costumes. The particular panel that I did was on armour and prop making. I also had to judge the masquerade, which is when cosplayers enter their costumes to be judged for prizes. So I sat with another 3 of the cosplay guests, and between us we judged the costumes on construction and on performance.
I think there is some competitiveness with cosplay depending on what area of the community you're in, but I don't think it's a malicious competitiveness. We're all friends.
I'd say there's definitely a level of competitiveness with cosplayers. I mean, you see someone in the same costume as you and just like, ooh, they did that so much better, but I did this so much better.
If you look at somebody else's cosplay and it's a similar thing to what you do, it's totally and utterly normal to compare yourself to them and perhaps to want to make yours as good as theirs or better than theirs. I do it. I look at, if someone's done the same character as me, I can't help but look at it and go, oh, is that better than mine? Do they look better than me? And then you get that feeling of insecurity, but it just doesn't need to be there. It doesn't need to be there at all because it's not about that.
There is a certain level of competitiveness, especially with the whole sort of like fame that's sort of brewed up through cosplay, with people being, you know, internet famous and whatnot. But I hope it just stays a minority and that everyone is just in it for the fun rather than the fame.
I think for masquerades, you definitely want to win like one of the prizes or one of the places because you spent so long and so much money sometimes on these costumes, so it's nice to get something back.
Some people can be a lot more competitive than others, and I try and concentrate on being competitive with myself rather than competing with other people. Trying to make my own costumes better rather than thinking their costume is better than mine.
The most important thing about cosplay is to do something that you love to wear, to make something that you want to get up and make in the morning, that you want to put all this time and effort into. If you're not going to be happy in the cosplay, then there's no point in doing it.
The most important thing about cosplay for me is that you enjoy it, because if you're not enjoying yourself, then there's not much point in doing it, especially as it's a very expensive hobby to do if you're not committed to it.
Fun. That's the most important thing about cosplay. Just having a laugh, doing what makes you happy and not making anybody else feel bad for doing what makes them feel happy.
If you take it too seriously, then I think you can get ahead of yourself and you can really ruin the fun aspect from it. For me, it's a social hobby. It's not something that I take too seriously, and if I lost that element of fun, I don't think I would do it anymore because I wouldn't see the point. So it's definitely the fun side of cosplay.
I think cosplay is basically just having fun. I think that some people forget that it's a hobby and they take it really, really seriously, and that's fine, but when it starts distressing you and making you upset and people get really elitist, and I don't agree with that, and I think the most important thing in cosplay is that you just have fun and just be happy. My favourite cosplay is probably my Lara Croft cosplay. It's a really nice cosplay to wear because it's really recognisable, and you can be either muddy and bloody and like rough and tough, or you can be like really sexy and perfect and clean about it. So it can go either way, and it's really flexible with whichever clothes you want to wear.
I'd have to say my favourite cosplay is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I did her winter outfit and it was just great just being able to portray like my favourite character.
My favourite cosplay has to be Thor from The Dark World. It was 100 pieces of leather and wool and plastic armour that I had to mould from scratch, and it took months. So it was a real labour of love, but the reaction you get when people see you cosplaying such an iconic character, it's just phenomenal.
My favourite cosplay is my female Captain America cosplay, because it's the first one where I was really proud of it when I finished it, and it always goes down really well at conventions.
My favourite cosplay at the moment would be this costume, my Death Eater. It gets the most response from people as I walk around. It frightens the living daylights out of some children, which is always fun.
My favourite cosplay is my Hawkeye costume. It's a costume that I made as a gender bend, so it's a character that's typically male, but I made it female, and it was a labour of love. It took me a long time, and I really love wearing that costume because Hawkeye is just one of my favourite characters.
My favourite cosplay is my zombie Ariel. I kind of did it for a laugh, and that's what it ended up being. It was so much fun. I just spent the day like stalking my friends and pretending to eat people. I've never had my photo taken with so many small children. It was just like adults just going, "Can you eat my child?" Which I wasn't expecting. So that was the most amount of fun because it gave me the most amount of interaction with people.
Cosplay has given me a whole new group of friends for me. I go to so many more places now, I do so many more things.
It's given me a lot more confidence on the convention scene. I would usually just walk around and sort of keep to myself. I've made some fantastic friends while doing so.
I didn't really have many friends before I started cosplaying, and now I've got loads. And also it's given me a lot of confidence because you need that confidence to be comfortable in costume surrounded by strangers.
It's brought a lot of good things into my life and a lot of good people into my life who, you know, are my best friends now.
Cosplay has given me more confidence in talking to people because in general if I was just to go out to a bar or something I wouldn't talk to people, I wouldn't feel like I had much in common with them. But when you're at a convention, you know everyone's there for the same reasons and you can just turn around in a queue for something and start talking to someone.
Cosplay's given me a lot of freedom and confidence to kind of just do whatever you want to do and look however you want to look. Like, I would never wear something like this just out. It just gives you so much confidence because you're not you, you're somebody else.
Before I started cosplaying, I was a very withdrawn person. Then the idea of posing in front of hundreds of people dressed in some of the costumes that I wear a couple of years ago is crazy, but now I realise that I think I have a lot more confidence in a costume than not in a costume. I suppose I'm hiding behind that character, and the idea of becoming that character is a lot more fun than just walking around in normal clothes, so I think it's given me a lot of confidence.
You're like a love song in my mind, play it on little baby one more time. Touch me like music, got you on replay every night and day. Feel your body and every word you say. Touch me like music. On the verse, yellow beat starts first. Have me with your rhythm like a body's rehearsed. Have me dancing all night. Then the melody, I heard it once, that was it for me. Like 1, 2, 3.